Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Wargames Geek. This week I'm looking at a Viking longboat that I'm going to put together and some Viking herdmen that I'm going to paint up for this model, and I'm just going to have as a display piece on the windowsill in the games room. So what I've done with this is I've bought this from the website Wish, and it was about £10. As you can see, the shields on it are a little bit on the naff side. This, believe it or not, is an incense burner. And there's a sort of small hole in the back on the inside of the boat for putting in incense sticks. The model itself is actually quite nice. I'm going to sand down the shields. They're all part of the model. They're not glued on or anything, so they'll need sanding down. And as you can see inside the boat, there's some kind of planking there, which does have a texture to it, so that should be really good for highlighting and adding some of my quick shade strong tone too. Also, as you can see on the planks, there are some nail heads, so I'll paint those up as well. Now, I haven't got any Vikings at the moment, so next best thing I could find was a Saxon figure, and so it just gives an idea of how big he is inside the boat. So I think I'll probably fit about 10 figures in here, and what I'll do is I probably won't base the figures on the square or round bases. I'll probably fix them to the bottom of the boat. So there we are. So that's a 28mm figure there, and yeah, he won't fit on the step, but I think with the Viking herdmen that I'm going to buy are going to fit on there quite nicely if they remain unbased. So that's a look at just one of the Saxons there that I've done some time ago. So there we are. So that's the boat. As I say, I think it was about £9 from Wish, and it's made of a kind of it feels like a resiny material. Underneath there's kind of a felt base on it. So yeah, all in all, not a bad little piece. The metal work is rather nice. It's kind of a sort of silvery metal colour, and here we are then, having sanded down the shields from the sides. You have to be a bit careful with it because it does go pretty quick. So as I say, I'm not really 100% certain what the material is, but they're flat enough now for me to be able to glue some shields on over the top. And I think once I've painted the top section in the same sort of colours as the metalwork on the boat, it should look rather nice. So there we are. So that's where I'm at so far. Just going to turn that around so you can see that I've drilled a hole in the centre for the mast for the ship, and I've ordered bits from all over the place for the sail. I've bought some red and white striped material from Amazon, and that was about £3 for a metre square. I won't need that much, hopefully. I'm not going to build that big a sail. And just as a sort of an idea, I've popped one of the shields from one of my Saxons, just to give an idea of the sort of what I'm trying to achieve here by putting proper shields on it. It would definitely be an improvement on the ones that were on the mould itself. So that's looking down at the top of the boat, and as you can see, I think once that's painted, I think it's going to look pretty decent. So moving on then, what we're going to do next is I've now put the quick shade over the whole of the boat, and it's darkened it down quite a bit. And I've also sprayed it with some matte varnish. And where I'm at now is I've gone over all of the metalwork with gunmetal colour from the Army Painter range. And I need to give this another couple of coats of the matte varnish just to take the shine away. I think it's going to take a few there. So that's where we're at. I've painted over all of the nails, as I talked about before, on the inside and outside of the ship's hull, so they look now like they've actually got proper nails in, and that's where I'm at. I need to leave that for a couple of days. I've ordered the herdman to paint up as well for this set, and that's pretty much where I'm at with it all. The mast, I've ummed and ahed about the size of this hole and whether it's big enough and whether the mast's going to look a bit too skinny or not. I've drilled that 3mm. I've done that hole, and I've got some 3mm skewers that I'm going to use to make the masts up. And so just an idea there of how thick that is. I don't know. I could have gone a bit thicker. I'm happy with it. I think it maybe does look a little bit on the thin side, but I'm going to go with this, and if I'm not happy at a later date, what I'll do is I'll make the hole bigger, and I'll get some bigger doweling to make the masts, and I'll make some bigger ones. So yeah, that's where we are. It's a nice tight fit, and I want it to be able to take it out and put in. The idea being I want a full mast, and I want a mast that's sort of tied up, and I'll then decide what I'm going to use most of the time. So that's the felt I was talking about underneath of the boat. It's a really nice piece actually. I mean, yeah, it could be bigger. I suppose that would be ideal, but I'm really pleased with how this is going to turn out. So I've now given the boat several layers of the matte varnish. It still looks a little bit shiny. I think it's just more to do with the light that I'm using there. When I tip it towards the camera, you can see that it's not very shiny at all. So that's the other side of the boat, ready for me to start building the masts and the sail for the boat. And what I said before is I've gone on Amazon and I've got this material here, which is a large sheet of red and white stripe material, and the stripes are 10mm apart. So each red stripe and each white stripe are 10mm wide. And then the first thing to do is then cut it to size so it's going to fit on the mast. And I've cut this square out here. And what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to get another couple of the skewers that I've got, and I'm going to glue them to the top and bottom respectively. So this is the top. What I've done is I've put the skewer inside the top there. I've glued it on with a hot glue gun and then rolled it down to secure it. And likewise I'll do the same at the bottom. So it's simply a case of gluing the skewer to the material with the hot glue gun, wrapping it like so, and then when you've got the desired length, then gluing it again with the hot glue gun so you've got the finished sail length and width. So this is what it looks like glued top and bottom. Give it plenty of time to dry, and then what you need to do is go back to the boat just to measure the height of the mast to see you're happy with that, and then work out exactly where that's going to be glued on. What I'm trying to achieve here is I want it to look like there's some wind in the sail, so what I'll do is I'll glue the top bit in place, and then the bottom bit I'll sort of lift up slightly so it puffs out. So that's what it looks like. It's not brilliant. I'm not overly thrilled with the look of that, and but it's good enough for wargaming. I'm not going to go into too much detail. Just quite happy that it's got a sail on it, and it looks like it's correct. The other thing I've done is I've done a rolled up mast, and with this one I'll probably keep this one on it, to be honest. I think it's going to be easier for moving figures in and around it. And what I've done here is I've glued that onto the mast, and then I've tied on some string, just a ball of string that I've used to sort of tie the mast up. So I'll just show you the back of that so you can see what I'm talking about. And it's just a couple of sort of small knots that I've put on the back of the mast there just to hold it up. I'm happy with that. It's ideal for what I want it for, which is for actually using for gaming. I think if the mast is down, then it's going to be a little bit in the way. However, what I will do is I'll keep both, because the slot that I drilled into the base of the boat, or the hull shall I say, is big enough for me to twist either mast in. So if I'm doing a battle at sea, I'll have the sail down, for example. So that's it. I've just sort of part beached it. I've bought these figures that have arrived, and these are some Viking herdmen. There's 10 of those. So the next part of this will be obviously part 2, will be for me to paint up all of the herdmen. I need to do the shields on the side of the boat, and then it'll be kind of ready to start gaming with. So that's where I'm at. Please do join me for part 2 of this series, and I'm just going to put these figures in the boat to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. So there they are. There's 10 there, all in the boat, or 9 in the boat, 1 on the outside. They look a bit like Silver Surfers at the moment, but once they're all done, I'm sure they'll look grand. So that's where I'm at with this. Please do join me for part 2 of this video series. And thanks ever so much for watching this video, and as always, please do like, comment, subscribe, share the videos, and as always, thanks for watching.